Address at Yangon University. Delivered November 19, 2012, Yangon, Myanmar. Myanmar Nangan, Mingalaba. I am very honored to be here at this university and to be the first President of the United States of America to visit your country. I came here because of the importance of your country. You live at the crossroads of East and South Asia. You border the most populated nations on the planet. You have a history that reaches back thousands of years. And the ability to help determine the destiny of the fastest growing region of the world. I came here because of the beauty and diversity of your country. I have seen just earlier today the golden stupa of Shwedagon. And have been moved by the timeless idea of metta, the belief that our time on this earth can be defined by tolerance and by love. And I know this land reaches from the crowded neighborhoods of this old city to the homes of more than 60,000 villages. From the peaks of the Himalayas, the forests of Karen State, to the banks of the Irrawaddy River. I came here because of my respect for this university. It was here at this school where opposition to colonial rule first took hold. It was here that Aung San edited a magazine before leading an independence movement. It was here that U Thant learned the ways of the world before guiding it at the United Nations. Here, scholarship thrived during the last century and students demanded their basic human rights. Now, your parliament has at last passed a resolution to revitalize this university and it must reclaim its greatness. Because the future of this country will be determined by the education of its youth. I came here because of the history between our two countries. A century ago, American traders, merchants and missionaries came here to build bonds of faith and commerce and friendship. And from within these borders in World War II. Our pilots flew into China and many of our troops gave their lives. Both of our nations emerged from the British Empire. And the United States was among the first countries to recognize an independent union of Burma. We were proud to found an American center in Rangoon and to build exchanges with schools like this one. And through decades of differences, Americans have been united in their affection for this country and its people. Above all, I came here because of America's belief in human dignity. Over the last several decades, our two countries became strangers. But today, I can tell you that we always remained hopeful about the people of this country, about you. You gave us hope and we bore witness to your courage. We saw the activists dressed in white visit the families of political prisoners. On Sundays and monks dressed in saffron protesting peacefully in the streets. We learned of ordinary people who organized relief teams to respond to a cyclone. And heard the voices of students and the beats of hip-hop artists projecting the sound of freedom. We came to know exiles and refugees who never lost touch with their families or their ancestral home. And we were inspired by the fierce dignity of Daong San Suu Kyi. as she proved that no human being can truly be imprisoned if hope burns in your heart. When I took office as president, I sent a message to those governments who ruled by fear. I said, in my inauguration address, we will extend a hand if you are willing to unclench your fist. And over the last year and a half, a dramatic transition has begun, as a dictatorship of 5 decades has loosened its grip. Under President Thein Sein, the desire for change has been met by an agenda for reform. A civilian now leads the government, and a parliament is asserting itself. The once outlawed National League for Democracy stood in an election. And Aung San Suu Kyi is a member of parliament. Hundreds of prisoners of conscience have been released, and forced labor has been banned. Preliminary ceasefires have been reached with ethnic armies, and new laws allow for a more open economy. So today, I've come to keep my promise and extend the hand of friendship. America now has an ambassador in Rangoon, sanctions have been eased. And we will help rebuild an economy that can offer opportunity for its people, and serve as an engine of growth for the world. But this remarkable journey has just begun, and has much further to go. Reforms launched from the top of society must meet the aspirations of citizens who form its foundation. The flickers of progress that we have seen must not be extinguished, they must be strengthened. They must become a shining North Star for all this nation's people. And your success in that effort is important to the United States, as well as to me. Even though we come from different places, we share common dreams, to choose our leaders. To live together in peace, to get an education and make a good living, to love our families and our communities. That's why freedom is not an abstract idea, freedom is the very thing that makes. Human progress possible not just at the ballot box, but in our daily lives? One of our greatest presidents in the United States, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, understood this truth. He defined America's cause as more than the right to cast a ballot. He understood democracy was not just voting. He called upon the world to embrace four fundamental freedoms. Freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. These four freedoms reinforce one another, and you cannot fully realize one without realizing them all. So that's the future that we seek for ourselves, and for all people. And that is what I want to speak to you about today. First, we believe in the right of free expression so that the voices of ordinary people can be heard. And governments reflect their will, the people's will. In the United States, for more than 2 centuries. We have worked to keep this promise for all of our citizens to win freedom for those who were enslaved. To extend the right to vote for women and African Americans, to protect the rights of workers to organize. And we recognize no two nations achieve these rights in exactly the same way. But there is no question that your country will be stronger if it draws on the strength of all of its people. That's what allows nations to succeed. That's what reform has begun to do. Instead of being repressed, the right of people to assemble together must now be fully respected. Instead of being stifled, the veil of media censorship must continue to be lifted. And as you take these steps, you can draw on your progress. Instead of being ignored, citizens who protested the construction of the Myitsone Dam were heard. Instead of being outlawed, political parties have been allowed to participate. You can see. Progress being made. As one voter said during the parliamentary elections here. Our parents and grandparents waited for this, but never saw it. And now you can see it. You can taste freedom. And to protect the freedom of all the voters, those in power must accept constraints. That's what our American system is designed to do. Now, America may have the strongest military in the world, but it must submit to civilian control. I, as the President of the United States, make determinations that the military then carries out, not the other way around. As President and Commander-in-Chief, I have that responsibility because I'm accountable to the people. Now, on other hand, as President, I cannot just impose my will on Congress. The Congress of the United States, even though sometimes I wish I could. The legislative branch has its own powers and its own prerogatives. And so they check my power and balance my power. I appoint some of our judges, but I cannot tell them how to rule. Because every person in America from a child living in poverty to me, the President of the United States is equal under the law. And a judge can make a determination as to whether or not I am upholding the law or breaking the law. And I am fully accountable to that law. And I describe our system in the United States because that's how you must reach for the future that you deserve, a future where a single prisoner of conscience is one too many. You need to reach for a future where the law is stronger than any single leader. Because it's accountable to the people. You need to reach for a future where no child is made to be a soldier and no woman is exploited. And where the laws protect them even if they're vulnerable, even if they're weak. A future where national security is strengthened by a military that serves under civilians. And a constitution that guarantees that only those who are elected by the people may govern. On that journey, America will support you every step of the way by using our assistance to empower civil society. By engaging your military to promote professionalism and human rights. And by partnering with you as you connect your progress towards democracy with economic development. So advancing that journey will help you pursue a second. Freedom, the belief that all people should be free from want. It's not enough to trade a prison of powerlessness for the pain of an empty stomach. But history shows that governments of the people and by the people. And for the people are far more powerful in delivering prosperity. And that's the partnership we seek with you.